Welcome back to another episode of the Shed Geek podcast from Lebanon, Tennessee. Matt, second time around on the show. You want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Matthew Black. I'm the owner of Black's Buildings as well as My Shed Solutions, and based here in Lebanon, Tennessee.
So got to come down and hang out with you again, which is always cool and fun and enjoyable. We laugh a lot.
A whole lot.
It seems like whenever we're hanging out. Got some cool threads.
Yep.
Got to check this out, guys. Got me. I'll have to show you the back of it. Got a Black's Buildings hoodie.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Hot off the press.
It was very much appreciated. I brought you a Shed Geek shirt though. Didn't quite compare.
If it was a little warmer outside, I just wear that. It's a little too cool for a t-shirt right now.
Yeah, you'll have to wear that and do a shout out one day.
I will.
I'd appreciate it.
Definitely will.
So tell me, man, lots happened since the first episode.
Yep.
Obviously bringing you back for a second episode to really talk about the difference of what was whenever you launched My Shed to where it's at now.
For sure. Yep.
It's been definitely fun, like doing the affiliate partnership with you on that.
Yep.
And being able to just push that product out and talk to people who they're looking for things like this. I mean, let's just get down to the nuts and bolts of it. There's the tech world is like full on in the shed industry at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
You're
really
seeing
taking off.
just more things emerge, right?
Yep.
What's the difference? What would you tell the audience about, let's just start with My Shed. Let's jump right in.
Yeah.
What would you tell the audience where it's at now versus kind of where you were, a year ago?
For sure.
Whenever me and Kyle did an interview with you, it's changed so much now versus
it has, yeah.
versus where it is. So tell me a little bit about My Shed.
Yeah, so like you said, we've come a long way in just the past 12 months. We've really buckled down on all of our processes, really refining the whole user interface of the program, trying to simplify some of the functions and just making it very easy to use, but also very comprehensive there. So yeah, we've been working really hard. We've also added our material tracking functionality, which is a pretty big deal. We're kind of first to the market with a comprehensive product that includes the 3D as well as the back-end admin functions, delivery scheduling, and the material tracking all in one platform. So yeah, we've been working really hard to put out a quality product that serves the industry well.
So you're saying the material tracking. Tell me a little bit about the thoughts on that. On one thing that I hear from one shed shop to the next as I'm visiting is we just hear it a lot now. Know your numbers, right? Like
For sure.
Know the numbers of what you're selling, because if you're basing your pricing off of your competition, you're always going to be there versus basing the price of your shed off of what you've got in it, and you can manage that number and see it in real time.
For sure.
That's what makes so much more sense. So tell me a little bit about that. Tell me about the material tracking side of things. Why is that important? Why would someone want that?
Yeah, so materials tracking is super important. Historically in the shed industry, manufacturers have kind of based their pricing off of their material costs. So the retail price is a derivative of the material cost to build that building. Historically, between 40 to 50%. Obviously, we'd all love to be in that 40% range, but that's a little hard to do. But in the past, with material pricing changes there, manufacturers had to go through and compile all sorts of information to be able to put a price on each shed. So as cost of materials changed, they might not be actually keeping up to date with it well enough to make sure their margins are still where they need to be. So My Shed, we're all about the data and using the data to help our users. So we're trying to find ways for them to, see trends, to forecast the material usage, to put it all together. It doesn't work as well if it's just material tracking, because then you lose some of that forecasting, some of the other functionality that we can provide. But yeah, just really, really important. Also important for companies that may have like manufacturing locations where they ship materials and the place manufactures it for a percentage or whatever that might be. Just you're not there on the ground every day to make sure that the materials are being used effectively or their materials aren't walking off the site. So it just helps you be on top of all that. If there's problems with inventory, you'll be able to spot that much quicker, material inventory, and recognize that something's going on and, take corrective measures there.
How does this help with you've got material constantly coming in.
Yep.
So we're here today in Lebanon. We're actually inside of one of your sheds.
Yes, sir.
Here, that's cool and fun. I think this might be maybe the only second episode we've done inside a shed outside the one that I used for a studio.
Oh, really?
Originally.
Okay.
So this is kind of a cool idea, but you've got material coming in and out
all
as
day,
you go.
Every day. Yep.
Some of that material gets very volatile on like the cost at times,
For sure.
depending on supply chain. So
Yep.
how can the material tracking effectively
Yep.
help me if I'm a shed manufacturer and I'm trying to get material in, I'm getting it in at a different cost. I'm building sheds that
sure.
are going out the door at a different cost.
Yep.
How would I keep up with that though?
Yeah, so that all works through our first in, first out system. That's really the only way material tracking can work effectively. So essentially every board that's received at a price is given a slot. And then once that slot is used, it goes on to the next slot. So it makes sure that the pricing associated with any building that's manufactured is accurate to the boards going in that building. So that first in, first out system keeps things very well fine-tuned there.
When I was doing the demo with you and walking through the program, one of the things I thought was really cool is all the automated processes it can do for you.
Yep.
I started in procurement. That's where I started my shed career.
For sure.
Purchasing and calling all these different companies and always on the prowl for new products, research and development. You're always looking for more to try and, these new trends in the shed industry and things.
Yep.
So how would that really help somebody who's with automation? If I'm purchasing, this will automatically send, I remember this specifically, I'm asking you and telling you, I guess at the same time, but it'll automatically send an email for you.
It will. So there's a lot of items that, shed manufacturers receive palletized or by the box that's shipped. We're really good with those items to be able to automatically place reorder. And the way that works, we can either directly email the supplier for that material and say, hey, we need to order X amount. We'll actually even take into the forecasting. So you might have still 100 of that item in stock, but we know the lead time to receive that item is 4 weeks. So we forecast what buildings are on your schedule to be built in that 4 weeks to know, hey, we need to reorder now. So it helps a lot with the just-in-time kind of processes. We haven't refined it completely on truckload orders of lumber. For those, we typically recommend that we send an email to a purchasing agent that puts together the truckload just so it's effectively filling the truck. That way your board foot price is as low as possible there. But so yeah, there's a lot that goes on with it.
This is kind of for it could be for a mom and pop, you know what I mean? But this seems to be something that's all encompassing that really creates a comprehensive, as you say, a comprehensive approach. Is this, how do you see that working? Is that the industry's so fragmented, right?
For sure.
There's people that do things different ways whenever it comes to their ordering or their purchasing, their selling or whatever. Who's your target market there?
Really we have a wide swath as far as our target market. Our pricing structure does help smaller companies get on. So we do have a free tier that includes everything but the material tracking, and that goes up to a certain threshold of sales in a month. And then from there, we have a very affordable program. Typically, we're half the cost of comparable programs in the industry here. So, but our target market is really every shed company, but really the ones who want to know their numbers, who really care about all the data and the details of running their business. Because without a program like ours, it takes really another employee or multiple employees to be able to gather all this data, do all the reporting, and it just makes running the business so much smoother.
Hey guys, this is the Shed Geek, and I'm here to tell you about the latest in financial innovation to hit the shed industry. It's a program called Backyard Finance. Everywhere I go, shed manufacturers and shed sellers are always asking, how can I get a better payment option for my customer? At Backyard Finance, they're making this a reality. You might be asking, how do I sign up? Simple, just go to Backyard Finance, click on the Get Started Now button, and create an account. After that, you'll have 200 plus banks competing to give your customer the best financial terms possible. With Backyard Finance, you can service your customers two ways: direct to customer lending or direct to merchant lending. With direct to merchant lending, simply fill out an application. It takes about 2 to 4 weeks to process that application, but it'll allow you a variety of financing options to make you a more competitive retailer. With FICO scores as low as 500, 600, or 700 plus, your customers will receive financing options with APRs as low as 2.99% or as high as 29.99%. Credit applications are approved in just 15 to 45 seconds. To know more, contact Backyard Finance at 833-692-2286 or email info@backyardfinance.com today. Backyard Finance, funding backyard dreams. Yeah, I know. I've tried to keep up with things in Excel spreadsheets before, and if anybody's ever done that, it works good at first, and then after a while, you're just chasing your tail.
For sure.
You know, once it gets once you get so much data in there, it all just starts to look the same.
Definitely. Yep.
You know.
And we've kind of identified things that shed companies want to know from their data, and we present that all on the reporting functions of the dashboard. What
was sort of your driving force behind that? You might have on the first episode talked about that, but as a manufacturer, what made you say, hey, this is important to me, or what?
Yeah. I mean, I recognize the importance of software like this. I just felt like the pricing had got maybe a little out of hand, and there were some things that were lacking, specifically. Material tracking is something I've heard people ask for years, and nobody's kind of stepped up to the plate to do that. You can't really do that well without some of the other functionality. The way it works together is as good as it gets. When it's fragmented and you're trying to use this company and that company and this other company and then put it all together, it just, the buck stops here with us. So if there's something going on, it's with us. We're going to fix it. We're going to make it right. When you've got multiple other companies trying to work together and there's issues, it just gets convoluted. It's really hard to get things done.
The material tracking, I mean, the reason it's just so cool is I've said multiple times on the podcast, like there's so much opportunity in this industry. I think back to the Josh Villalobos episode, and he said, with Americans, there's so much opportunity, you just got to pick one.
There is.
Well, to me, like maybe I'm seeing this through rose-colored glasses or whatever, but the shed industry has so much opportunity. It's just who's going to step up and like produce that.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Take care of that need. That's why I thought it was cool. Definitely the podcast wasn't something, I never went to my guidance counselor and said I want to be a podcaster.
Yep.
When I get older, but I always had that entrepreneurial type spirit. So I appreciate that about you saying, hey, there's a need.
Yep.
I'm going to go like fill that need. I always say I walk the line between brave and stupid sometimes. There's a thin line between them. But sometimes I'm just brave enough to be stupid and say, hey, let's go try this and see if it works.
Yep.
It's working out really good for you so far?
It has, yeah. So we had a great showing at the Expo, have lots of clients signed up. We're expecting great demand. Obviously, being a new company, we understand we've got to prove ourselves in this market. We're not just going to come in and everybody's going to come to us, but we're ready to do that. So we're going to show people what we can do, and if you get a chance, contact us if you'd like to see a demo. You can reach me directly on my cell phone. It's 870-918-7085, or shoot me an email. It's matt@myshed.io, and I'd love to talk to you more about it. But we plan to, over time, capture our share of this market. But we understand it's not something that happens day one.
Well, I think humility is the right approach.
Yeah.
This industry is conservative, so humility goes a long way. So I appreciate that you said, I've got prove myself, because humility is just the answer. People want to know that that's the type of service that they're receiving.
That's what I'd expect as a consumer. So that's what
Well,
I
sure.
want to provide.
We've talked, gosh, how many conversations have we had about over promises and under delivering?
Yeah.
And really that happens. Those are conversations that aren't just necessarily specific to the shed industry.
For sure.
But we see them happen even in the shed industry. As a salesperson, I was really tempted to overpromise many times. Oh yeah, that delivery driver can get this done. For sure. I know there's a lot of delivery drivers that can empathize with that. How did you think I was going to put a 10-foot building in an 8-foot hole?
Oh, they can make it happen.
I figured you could make it happen.
This equipment these guys have, I tell you, they can do anything.
They can do anything. You sort of addressed with your software the hauling side of things. I mean, you were the title sponsor at the Shed Hauler Bash in Utah.
Yes, sir.
You know, so I mean, you put together, and we collaborated on that to do the video.
Yeah, if y'all haven't seen that, check it out on the haulers page. It's on my page, but just a little video to show our appreciation for the haulers, because I mean, what would we be if we didn't have anybody to haul our sheds?
Sure.
I mean, none of us would do well. And, you know, at Black's Building specifically, and I'm sure many other companies feel this way, we have got great haulers. These guys go above and beyond. Every once in a while, we have customers that'll call and after they get their shed and just tell us how much they like it. But it happens every week that they call and say, man, I love that delivery guy. They were so great. And, you know, it's our last point of contact.
The last
typically
touch.
with that customer. So it's so important. So, that it is a group that is very appreciated by me and across the industry. Definitely, we wouldn't be what we are without them.
Yeah, if you guys want to check out the video, so God made a shed hauler, sort of a rendition. I think I got that right. Of the Paul Harvey "God Made a Farmer"
There you go.
video, and me and you collaborated to make that happen. And it was fun, and a lot of cool response on that. And and I think the haulers really appreciated that. So we were there in Utah, got to do that. Why is adding the haulers into the software such an imperative part of the outside of them being last touch for customer?
For sure.
Specifically for the software, why does that matter?
I mean, it really, once again, we want to be that comprehensive software. So for things to work right, it's best to have all that done. So when a building is completed at a manufacturing location, that building is marked as ready for delivery. There's multiple ways it can be handled. Typically, the hauler can go in there and directly mark that on a calendar. So that would send an email to the customer, letting the customer know, hey, it's scheduled for this time. It also helps people in the office to be able to track what's going out and make sure that, you know, you're not over-promising that you'll get 4 buildings done this day when the hauler can realistically only do 3. So it lets them do a lot there. Also, you know, the hauler can upload a photo of the building where it's delivered. We can pull the geotag off of that photo and then directly mark that on a map. So the RTO company or whoever knows exactly where that building's sitting at the location. So there's a few functions within that, and all of that is tracked with the order permanently. So if 2 years from now you need to go back in the system and pick that building up, you pull up that order, shows you the pictures of it, shows you where it's setting, all that's right there. So there's some neat functionality within the hauling portion of the software.
For sure. I'm sure they'll appreciate that, those who use it. I mean, those guys always lead the pack, very organized, and
Definitely.
appreciate what all of them do. I've had the pleasure of making it to a couple of the events. I missed Texas this year. I hated that I missed out, but I'm hoping to be down in Montezuma soon, and this episode will probably be long gone by the time that happens, but certainly looking forward to knowing them more, and appreciate all they do.
Great group of guys.
For real. That's for sure. Now the visual side, I mean, just the 3D, just in general, I think that's what brings in so much traffic.
It is. So, I mean, it's a great selling tool, giving your customers confidence in your company. It gives you a very professional appearance. So through your website, your 3D builder and whatnot, you can position yourself as the best of the best, whereas in reality, you know, maybe your shop's not very big, or maybe there's these other things that lack. But for a customer, and increasingly with online sales being such a huge thing, it's very important. And just, being able to see that building, move the windows around, move the doors. Like with my shed, we've got comprehensive list of options. So, your dormers, your windows, doors, we've got a dozen types of doors, probably just as many types of windows. Everything is already in there. And that's another thing that kind of sets us apart. Like with our 3D, we're not aiming to make money from building out custom 3D options or models. We actually designed our software to where the models are adjustable. So if you build a building with a taller wall height than another, we're not just giving you a generic image that looks kind of similar. Our software will update that to look exactly to what you build, and we don't charge you for that. It's just right there included. So, like I said, we're not looking to make money off that side of it.
I think it's cool, man. And all this is hosted in an admin panel.
Yep.
Like that's sort of your nucleus.
For sure. Yeah, it's where you've got all these tabs in there, so you can view all the quotes, the different statuses that an order goes through. So if the deposit received, you can request deposits, send invoices, request payments, track every little thing. All your inventory buildings are housed either within lots, or if you allow a salesperson to sell off of multiple lots, they can show up in their store as well. We could spend 5 hours going through all the functionality of the admin panel, but that's the workhorse of the software. The 3D, it's really not that hard. It's not that difficult to build a 3D programming. It's not easy and it's not cheap, but compared to the admin, that's where the nuts and bolts are. That's where the value's added for the company, for the customer. They definitely get the value through the 3D. It looks pretty, it's nice, but for the companies that are paying us and using our software, their value is in that back end of the admin panel.
Are you a shed manufacturer, dealer, or hauler looking for a trusted resource to build or upgrade your website? Do you need a simple business website or a more robust and dynamic e-commerce site? Are you looking for an affordable option with digital marketing solutions for your small business? Are you looking for paid ads using Google search engines or social media platforms to reach a new audience? If you answered yes to any of these questions, it's time to check out Troyer Websites of Texas. Did you know that 46% of the 5.6 billion searches made each day are for local businesses? At Troyer's, our SEO strategies will help you get on the first page of search results for your shed business. At Troyer Websites of Texas, you will be sure to get 5-star customer service with proficiency and skill. Troyer Websites just launched their managed digital services to incorporate all your marketing needs into a single dashboard. Here at the Shed Geek Podcast, we trusted the team at Troyer Websites of Texas to develop our website, and we couldn't be happier with the results. To know more or schedule a discovery call, simply contact the Shed Geek at 618-309-3648 or email info@shedgeek.com.
So if I'm a manufacturer, kind of take me through the benefit from just sort of A to Z. What would your 2-minute approach be to me if I went up and talked to you at the Expo and didn't get the full understanding of what all you're doing? Help kind of explain that to me. What's it look like? What's my customer going to experience? And then how's that going to help me? What would you wrap it up like?
The easiest way to wrap it up is just to say you can run your shed business from your pocket. Everything that we do is mobile friendly, mobile first. Literally everything can be done straight from your smartphone. Just makes it really easy to keep track of everything beyond just kind of the catchphrase of run your shed business from your pocket. It does so much for helping you know the nuts and bolts of what's going on in your business. It helps streamline everything. You're not having to manually email or print or fax all these documents everywhere. Documents are e-signed in the software, so you don't have to collect manual signatures, keep up with that forever. It's right there in the software. It'll always be there. Just a really good way to run all functions of your shed business.
So you could be a mom and pop, or you could be a very large organization.
For sure. It can be as easy and simple as you want it, or as comprehensive as you want it. That's something that I heard a lot about as we were ramping up production on the software, is that people want something easy, and we understand that. And once you get super far in depth with some things, there's no way for that to be easy anymore. So that's fine. There's people that want to go that far in depth, but it's not a requirement with MyShed. With MyShed, you can simply use a 3D and a little functionality of the back end, or you can literally dive into all the back end functionality for your accounting, CRM, for every function, but you don't have to.
Yeah. I think it's just the way of the future, man. I think the writing's on the wall and has been for some time that software is going to dominate,
Oh, yeah.
It's the way other markets are going.
Yep.
And if you're someone who's serious about wanting to know your numbers and stay on top of things, and
Yep.
I think that's important. I think, there's guys out there that ask for that all the time.
Yep.
The pleasure of going out over the last 5 or 6 years and visiting shed lots and
Yep.
and shed manufacturers is one of the first things I always say is, what else are you seeing out there?
Yep.
I mean, online sales is a hot topic and has been for a few years, and we saw that through COVID.
Yep.
And the bubble that we saw. You're almost starting to see, I think, a relative slowdown. It doesn't mean everyone is, but I think by and large, for the most part, you don't just do MyShed. You have Black's Buildings. This is kind of where you got started. You started with metal.
Yep.
And then you got out here one day and just started building sheds.
Yep.
And the next thing you know, I guess the rest is history, but you're a well-established shed manufacturer that's putting out product and trying to grow
Definitely.
in the region. And
Yep.
so what's Black seeing? Are you seeing sort of the same thing?
So we have seen sales aren't coming as easy as they have the past couple of years. So, obviously the demand caused by people being at home more, it was pretty awesome. I think most companies did pretty well during COVID. It was a struggle. I mean, there were a lot of companies that couldn't keep up with materials or keep materials on hand and whatnot. They might have had a hard time, but for companies that had their stuff together and were able to forecast and order correctly, which thankfully we did decently well at, it was a great time to really do well and make some money. But now we're really having to put in that additional effort. It is something where the whole online marketplace comes in. You might have to work harder to drum up the sales. There's still sales happening. Personally, at Black's Buildings, we sell multiple different products, and one of the things that we've started doing more recently, and we've seen decent success at, is buying used but good condition sheds. Whether it's a customer that comes to us and say, well, I've outgrown my shed, well, we can buy that back from you and credit you towards your new shed. Or if we go on Facebook, see a nice shed, we'll get with the person, try to work out a deal. But we've seen decent success in that. But with the consumers maybe not having as much money to spend at this point, they're looking for those lower price points. And this allows us to provide something that's still quality. We don't buy junk. We won't sell junk. We buy nice sheds. We turn around, we'll repaint them, we'll put a new roof if it needs it, we'll fix them up. But we are able to sell those at a lower price point. And so we're pivoting, trying to still drum up as many sales as we can. And overall, our numbers are still climbing. It's just not at the rate that we were hoping for based off of the last couple of years.
What are you doing to make changes? Are you doing anything online sales-wise?
Yeah, so, we've always done a lot of Facebook marketing. A lot of companies do marketplace, and we do a lot of that, but, Facebook ads are something that we were pretty heavy in. I know things have changed there. They're not quite working the same that they used to.
This new update, man.
Yep. Yeah,
this new update's like messing me up big time. And I don't even sell like regularly. I just occasionally still sell because people in the community might know that I sold for a long time. But it's messing with my head, like trying to navigate through this new Facebook thing.
For sure. Yeah. So our ad dollars are not being spent the same. We're definitely going more AdWords, and, branding is something that's super important in this marketplace as well, just because, once again, through your website and your online presence, you can really position yourself as the best option for your customer. And, customers, even customers that don't want to spend the highest price, still want the highest quality. So, we have offerings for all the different price points, but to bring them in, it helps to show the high quality that, we build, and just have that overall branding experience to be something very palatable that, looks really nice.
For sure.
Hello, Shed Builder. This is the Shed Geek, here to tell you about one of the coolest things I've seen, the first of its kind, the Joey Pivot Lift. I have visited hundreds of shed manufacturing shops across the country, and one of the first things shop owners and shed builders mention is the amount of fatigue that is placed on the everyday builder. If you own a shed shop, you know that your builder is an asset to your future. With the Joey Lift, you'll see more production, and your builder will appreciate you investing in their well-being by replacing the thousands of steps they have to take up and down a ladder all day. The Joey Lift is perfect for shed builders, roofers, painters, and laborers working to add that special layer of detail on your shed. It's so easy, even a geek can drive it.
Where do you see it going, man? Like over the next couple of years? I mean, obviously software is going to be a big part.
For sure.
But I mean, like from a shed manufacturer's perspective, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I do feel like things are going to stabilize. So it's going to go back to what it was before the pandemic. So you're still going to have people that excel at it. And then a lot of the companies that kind of came up during the pandemic that maybe aren't as well-footed and established, they're going to have a hard time. So they don't understand pre-COVID what it was like to run a shed business. But I would say it's going to be comparable to that. I don't think things are just going to drop off, but I think it's going to be something where, you've kind of got to change your strategies just a little bit because people aren't coming to you as much. You're having to put it in front of them. So, and like with Blacks, that's why we're trying to expand. We've always been a online only company with our manufacturing location. We'll sell directly out of here, and now we're shifting and looking for additional manufacturing capacity. Probably going to start some different sales lots throughout Tennessee, maybe part of Kentucky. Just trying to widen our footprint, just overall to continue growing the business despite things slowing down.
Man, you're in the area to do it. Nashville is it's hopping.
Yeah, it is.
It seems like we were going to move down here 15 years ago. I've got lots of family around here, and I think my cousin told me he bought a house 15 years ago for $100,000 here, and it's worth $250 now.
Oh yeah,
that's just wild to me.
Yep.
I mean, it's wild that you're seeing that much growth in a community.
Yep.
I forgot what they said the average home was, but in Nashville, someone was telling me that here, and I think like Asheville, North Carolina, maybe.
Yep.
Are like the two cities that were growing.
Oh yeah.
Like on the East Coast, at some of the largest rates. But Nashville's always fun, man. It's always like pleasant. It's like a little big town.
Yep.
And it seems like I have people who are moving down here more and more all the time from our community out of Illinois.
Oh, yeah.
They're fleeing to Tennessee.
For sure.
Taking advantage of that tax structure
that
they have here
no
versus Illinois.
Tax,
no state income tax is a big one. And honestly, you're even with your retail tax being higher.
Yep.
I mean, you're at like 9
9.75.
9.75. So we were at 6.5, and you had the income tax on top of it.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, we're going to catch you eventually with our retail tax.
Yeah.
And still have the income tax. So beautiful state, man.
It is.
Absolutely love it. I enjoy being here, and always enjoy getting to talk with you and watch and just continue to see how this thing takes off. How come we couldn't set this thing up where I could win the 4-wheeler at the Shed Expo?
Well,
are we really not friends?
Yeah.
I mean,
no,
a T-shirt was my destiny. Is what I said. It was. But
not everybody could win the 4-wheeler. if we were able to give a 4-wheeler to everybody, Shannon, then that would be nice.
Guys, I tried to slip him $100 and see if he would, pull my name out of there. But a man of integrity.
I know.
Matt Black wouldn't do it.
I told the kid to pull your name when he went to go pull it, but I don't know what happened there. Something.
You took my 100, didn't you?
I don't know. Yeah. Not really, folks. Yeah.
No, it was that was awesome, dude. honestly, it was a cool 4-wheeler, and what a splash. What a cool thing to do.
For sure.
To give back, really, and say, hey, this is how much I believe in what I'm doing. And I'm going to put this cool 4-wheeler out here for people to get. I thought your setup was just really cool. I see you going like just to new tiers and new levels constantly, man. I've been able to become a friend of yours, and our families become friends, and that means a lot. And it's really cool to see where you're going. I mean, you're part of the shed industry, man. So for me, being a shed geek, it's cool. These people are my people.
Oh yeah.
To be around them and watch what they're doing and watch them expand. Anything else you want to share on my shed?
No, just we'd love to do a demo for anybody out there that would like to see it. Love to just kind of show you what we can do and how it can work for your business. We do feel like we're the premier product in the industry. Obviously, we're the new kid on the block as well. So we it takes time.
Got to get start somewhere, right?
But give us the opportunity to at least show you what we've got. We feel like our offerings are pretty tremendous, especially once you consider the price point. But yeah, we'd love to talk to anybody. Once again, give me a call on my cell phone. Go to myshed.io or email me at matt at myshed.io, either one. So
okay, very cool, man. Always appreciate you being such a supporter of the podcast. You always listen. Oh, yeah. You subscribe for the newsletter.
There you go.
Can't say enough about how much I appreciate your investment in seeing, value.
Oh yeah.
In what I do, and I don't know, publicly, I've just felt like it made sense to say thank you. Yeah. I appreciate that.
I value your podcast. I've learned a tremendous amount from listening to the podcast. So,
it's
place a lot of value there.
It just continues to be a blast. It really does. When you find something that you enjoy doing, it really doesn't feel like work.
Yep.
So I love being able to do the affiliate partnership with you and others. That's been just really cool. The advertising, and I know all those things are just part of business.
Yeah.
Sometimes they transcend that whenever you get around people. Me and you were out here shooting basketball earlier. I was going to dunk on you.
Oh, yeah.
But I can't jump.
Yeah,
so there's that.
No, it was the ball.
It was totally the ball.
It was the ball.
But we always have fun, man. I got this this miniature Matt Black beard going on here. I was waiting for it. I knew you was waiting to push one of those buttons.
There you go.
I'm gonna catch you, brother. I'm gonna let this thing grow out and
challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. You know what we need to do? A real challenge would be shaving our beards.
Shaving your beard, that would be a great challenge.
I did say ours, didn't I?
You said yours.
Oh, okay.
That's what I heard.
All right. Well, maybe one of these days I can talk you into a charity drive.
Or maybe not.
Or maybe not.
Yeah. I'm all about charity. I will do anything for charity.
I tried to pressure you while I got you on here, but it didn't work, did it?
No, probably won't shave my beard.
You've been growing that since the day you got married.
Since the day I got married. That was the last time I was clean shaven.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
I've still trimmed it up a little bit here and there, but just haven't clean shaven since that point.
If folks want to know about partnering with you at Black's, if they're in the community, reach out. Same number.
Definitely.
Reach you.
870-918-7085. And we're right here in Lebanon, Tennessee, 615 Briskin Lane, Lebanon, Tennessee. So definitely love for anybody to stop by if you're in the area, if you just want to chat, if you want a free sweatshirt, maybe a hat, stop by, we'll chat, and yeah, anytime.
You're one of the coolest dudes I know in the shed industry and out. Appreciate just, your friendship and getting to know you. There's lots of good people in this industry.
Oh, yeah.
There's lots of good people. There's lots of good companies and organizations and products out there. Man, I endorse my shed with all that I've got. I'd certainly love what you've done.
Appreciate it.
And just being able to watch it come together.
Yep.
Like I said, is not a knock on anybody. I just I appreciate that that's worked out for the two of us to combine on something like that. And I just see you going to like huge like areas in the industry, man, with your drive. That's going to go a long way and serve you well. And humility is always a first, and you're laid back and all that. It's just been fun to add a friend to the show.
Lots of good times.
Yeah, man. Appreciate. Yeah, for sure. Like I always enjoy hanging out with you wherever we go. So
Oh yeah.
a lot of fun and a lot of laughter, and I think that's what God intended. You know, and not just a spirit of fear and stress and everything else that we got going on in life. Man, you're like the least stressed dude I know. I'm like, man, how's he do it? He carries it well.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
so
it's not that I'm not stressed. It's that I
Carry
try
it
not to
well.
let it get to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it does well to focus on issues and problems that you're facing and deal with them. But, you know, being stressed about it doesn't serve any positive function.
this comes back to, I'm going to expose your secret.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
This comes back to, you have a degree in psychology.
I do.
And I think that's what so much for me comes back to is you do not remind me of the guy who would have a degree in psychology. And it's like your secret weapon.
Maybe.
I think because anytime me and you talk, you're always straightforward, calm, cool.
Yep.
Just, you know what I mean? Like you address things differently than I do. And I
Yep.
think it comes from that mentality.
For sure.
You know.
Yeah, and, you know, I'm a little over analytical sometimes on some things because just
Well, that's that nature, isn't
Yeah.
it? Of like,
Yeah.
you know, having that psychology degree.
Yep.
It's probably what drew you to it.
Yep.
You know, was to overanalyze. I get called an overthinker. You know what I tell people, Matt? Maybe I'm not an overthinker. Maybe you're just an underthinker. Like maybe I'm thinking about it the perfect amount.
Yeah.
So
That's probably the case.
only an overthinker would come up with a comment like that, wouldn't they?
Surely not.
Appreciate you, brother. Everything that you do. I think my shed's awesome.
Thank you.
You have my endorsement. I think it's cool. I think Black's Buildings is cool and going places and doing cool things.
Yep.
I have lots of friends in this industry, and I certainly value you as one of my top friends in this
Same
this
to you.
journey. So,
Yes, sir. Back at you.
well, I appreciate it. If you don't care, man, I'll say a prayer over the industry,
Let's do
and
it. Yes, sir.
we'll get out of here and let you get back to work because you're a busy man.
Yes, sir.
All right. Lord, thank you for this day, for the opportunity. We just ask that you'd watch over the industry, continue to bless those and prosper those that are putting their best foot forward to continue to supply this industry through services and products, and those that are servicing customers. Let us not forget to put your work first in all that we do. We just ask that all things that we do would point towards you and the saving graces that we've received through your Son, Jesus Christ. We appreciate this day and all these opportunities that you'd give us, God. You just continue to open doors as you see fit and close those that you see necessary to close. I ask you to watch over Matt and his family and his business as he continues on. Just ask that you would be with him and give him the guidance and the wisdom to do things in your way and in your timing, and we can all learn and just follow you through those processes. Ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Appreciate you, my man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Shed Geek Podcast. Aren't you going to do your button there? This, what did we call it? Gabby's Dollhouse?
Gabby's Dollhouse.
That's what we should have named the episode.
I guess so.
Check
So
this.
we haven't actually started the episode yet, have we?
Yeah,
You want me to do that in the episode?
I want you to do
Cut. Cut.
in the episode. Is that the new sound? That's the new.
No, that's the
new
mark.
marker. So check this out, everybody. I got this cool Black's Buildings hoodie. You know, I once went to get a 4-wheeler and try and win a 4-wheeler, and I ended up with a T-shirt.
Yep.
I guess that was my destiny.
Yep.
What's up with that?
Well, you see what happens. You come down here and you get a nice sweatshirt to go along with it. So
I'll tell you what, everybody needs to come visit Matt Black down here in Lebanon. Don't say Lebanon because they'll straighten you out down here.
Yep.
It's Lebanon, Tennessee,
Yep.
and maybe he'll get you a Black's.
You haven't even introduced me yet. Like, you haven't even introduced who you're talking to.
Do you really
today.
even need an introduction? Let's
Can
be
we
honest.
start this podcast at some point, Shane?
Matt, you want to introduce yourself to the audience? Go for it.
No.
No.
At some point, we need to start this.
Okay.
I know the structure to the podcast. This is not it.
You ready?
No.
No, it's fine.
Not .com. What is that called at the end of the?
The URL. I mean, I would just call it the domain.
Yep.
I guess, right?
Well,
yeah. I don't know. This is not going. It's not starting well. we can't keep resetting the episodes.
Kevin, you're never going to want to do a podcast with me again.
Dude, I
We're
love
just gonna
doing
have
it.
too much fun.
All right, let's move on. Let's get away from that.
Let's do a podcast, folks.
Let's do a podcast. You're going to have to quit clapping. Are you wanting to start over? What do you want to do?
Yes, we got to start from the beginning. We'll do it seriously this time.
All right. You ready? All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Shed Geek Podcast.
We'll get through this, Shannon. I promise. It's going to start going here.
If you
All
say
right.
so.